welcome to the webinar called, I think we're calling this The Power of Two, Tier 2 Reflections. And we had a little bit of a plan for today, but we want to start, like we always do, with an emotional check-in, right? Today we're going to hear from Clarissa and Carla about the experience of the Tier 2 Leadership program at the Summer Institute in Digital Literacy. But really, we benefit from taking time to do some emotional check-in. So here's our mood meter. Here's our mood meter for today. Give me a thumbs up if you can actually see that on the screen right now. Yeah, cool. So if you'd like, you can use the annotation tool to make a small notation. Which of these adjectives best express how you are feeling today? And so if you're like me, you're just going to circle a word or maybe two words that capture your feeling. And I'll just share why I circled proud and playful, because I'm here in Philadelphia with my grandson, James, and he is such a big boy now, full sentences, eats lunch like a big kid. It's just a pleasure to be around. So I've been playful and proud to be spending time with my grandchild. Now you, I see, have circled some other adjectives. And so let's just go around the room. Tell us the adjective you checked and what's going on that you're feeling that way. Who's next?
Hi, Renee. I guess I'm just gonna have a go. It's Clarissa here, talking to you from Brasilia, Brazil. Beautiful sunny day. And I have circled joyful for my emotion of the moment. It's just such joy to be talking to you guys and to be giving back to this amazing community that has given me so much. So we're gonna be sharing some of that today.
Nice. Thank you so much. So who's next?
Well, I can be next. I added thrilled and energized. I think these past few weeks have been really amazing in thinking about my professional journey there, and just after Tier 2. So I really feel that I am with the right people doing the right job. So I'm really energized.
That's wonderful. Sora, Maura, Ariel, Charlie, I welcome and invite you to tell us where you are on the mood meter.
Hi, Renee. Hi, everyone. I'm here from Brasilia too. And I'm feeling very pleased and very proud because I just read a testimony from one of our teachers about the Maker Center Learning course, online course that he's taking with us. Yay! This is the first time that we run this course online, so it was a huge challenge for us. And see the results and see how they are very proud of their accomplishment and how they are learning so much with us and already putting all the learning into practice and seeing the good results and shouting this out loud. It's very a pleasant experience to me to hear their testimony about it.
Sora,
and I learned a lot from you during the Summer Institute, and we are using lots of inspirational tools and experiences that we had at the Summer Institute in this course. So
wow. It's a beautiful feeling, Sora. It's a beautiful feeling to see how fast ideas can spread, right?
Yes,
right?
yes.
So
thank you so much.
Your teachers are already getting excited about those ideas. They will be sharing it to others. We're all links in it.
Yes.
That's beautiful. Who's next on the mood meter? Tell us where you are today.
Hi, this is Charlie. I'm inspired. I'll just leave it at that. It's always fun to see my friends from Brazil presenting.
Thanks so
Hi,
much. Ariel.
hi, this is Ariel. I circled panicked and also focused. I'll start with the focused. I had a meeting with one of our guidance counselor. I shared the work that I did during the Summer Institute with my diet partner, and we're focused on moving it forward in the school and really using it to engage with our freshman students. So I'm finishing to work on that. I am panicked because yesterday I received a letter from the principal in regards to the first day of orientation and what they're having us, the way we're going to do orientation does not conform with the guidelines set out by the governor. And I am really nervous that 100 and something educators are going to come together. Someone's going to get COVID there, and then we won't be there when the students are supposed to come back. I am planning on going to my local union rally in front of the State House to convince the governor to have us not go into buildings that are not safe.
Wow. I'm glad you're being an activist, Ariel, and thank you for sharing. That's a complex set of feelings to be having this time of year. Now, Zan, you told us a little bit about why panicked was what you circled at the beginning, but that was probably before. We have 13 participants now. So will you share a little bit about why that's the mood you circled?
Panicked, yes. Panicked because I'm going to be teaching starting on Friday, and also leading a cohort of 15 part-timers to teach. And we barely have a union memorandum of agreement in place to keep us safe. And many of us are waiting to see if we're going to be granted the ability to teach remotely due to a variety of reasons. Anyway, so I'm a little breathless with it all. Teaching four classes
Wow.
and in real time. They're expecting us to do real time. Although I'm really pushing for high flex in my real time. So, but I'm also really pleased, especially to be back here with you all, because I feel like, I mean, I love my colleagues at my college and it's great, and some of them actually have attended this, so that's cool too, but it's just really nice to have lunch with people that I've learned so much with about real time.
I love it. Thank you for sharing. That is actually a really interesting thing. I think we all are feeling that little back to school madness, and it is a bit of a comfort to be with our friends. So thank you so much for sharing on the mood meter. Just to give you an outline of what we're going to do today. Oh, how cool it is that the annotations. Do you notice that the annotations stay? The annotations stay up, and then I think you can make them go away by clicking out and getting back in. Before we're going to break, the highlight of our session today, of course, is we're going to break into small groups and we're going to ask some questions and talk about in small group discussion. What did you learn in CITL 2020? How is Tier 2 different than Tier 1? What are some key ideas of Tier 2 and how do they relate to your work? And what questions do you have about Tier 2? But before we do that, what I wanted to do was ask Clarissa and Carla to introduce themselves a little bit, and they're really going to answer those questions from their point of view. So take it away.
Go my north. She's my north. She should start.
Go north.
Go north.
Are you going to share your screen, Clarissa, so we can talk a little bit?
I can. I'm going to put the slides into the chat so that you can be in control. Okay.
Oh, all right.
So
I have
there
it
you go.
open here in my computer. So,
Yeah, open it.
all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Can everybody see this?
Yes, yes, yes.
Here, thumbs up, guys. All right.
Yes, yes,
thumbs up.
yes, yes.
All
Okay.
right. Here we go, Carlota.
Yes, so I think it's great to have first like a retrospective from where we come from. We are now in tier 2, but last year we were in Rhode Island, Providence with a wonderful group in tier 1. And we didn't know what to expect from the program. We knew it was going to be great, but we had no idea, right, Cla?
Yeah.
Of course, I just said, Cla is the kind of person that we just call her and she will say yes to anything, to any crazy ideas. So, and the great thing about us is that I am a northwest and she's a southeast. I think we need to make this point very clear from the beginning,
Yes.
because I think this has to do a lot with the power of 2. But then, just to give you some sense of what happened to us last year, was that by the end of the week in tier 1, we had more than just an artifact. We really had like a playbook for deep learning based on lots of Julie's studies, and maybe you can take from there. Yes, Cla, because I know you have something to show.
Right.
And then we designed a very powerful playbook for teachers. And just by revising that playbook, we can see that we still have a lot to share. I was taking a look at it. It's so nice. And we haven't explored the way we should yet.
Right.
So, yes, Cla.
I would just like to comment that the way this tier 1 these artifacts, it was actually a whole experience that came out of our tier 1 experience. It really came from, I think, the activation of our repertoires and the added repertoires that we got from all of you guys in tier 1. And we had just playtime. It's so difficult nowadays as educators and professionals to have some sort of like summer camp for this type of work, this creative type of work. So this is pretty much what happened. We activated our repertoires. We met amazing people who have amazing repertoires, and we just followed our curiosity. And we are showing you here one of the gold nuggets of the repertoire, which is Julie's PDI cycle. It was mind-blowing to us when we first saw this in tier 1, and we sort of went after it, and we added up to something that we had already brought on our suitcase, right, Carla, which is the 8 forces, the 8 cultural forces. And as a matter of fact, Julie herself uses these forces in her PDI, right, cycle. So it made a lot of sense, it clicked, and that's what took us forward in our tier 1 experience for educators, artifact for educators. Now, what you're looking at right now are the 4 elements that came out as a result of our exploration of our repertoires and the community activation and energy that we had throughout. So we were thinking about the 4 primary fundamental elements of transformative deep learning experiences. And we came up with these 4. They are freshness, and we wanted to bring out questions intentionally. We wanted them to be questions because we wanted people to be bringing more questions rather than answers, right? We really wanted to provoke this type of thinking. So freshness, in terms of creating new opportunities, flow and movement, we also thought was an important aspect of a deep learning, meaningful learning experience. So encouraging movement and connections. This is a very powerful word for us, right, Carla? And the next one is the environment itself, right? So the physical environment, the digital environment, where you are, the people you're with are part of the environment, right? But also talking about concrete evidences of learning in terms of tangibility. The fourth element, the final element of the four elements, is balance. So, I mean, because it's just so overwhelming, right? It sometimes sounds like, oh my God, you have to be a superhero educator in order to pull this whole thing off. And there's just so many frameworks and so much beautiful stuff out in the world. And we just want to do it all, but we have to take a breath and just really find our balance and start and meet people where they are and start where you are and respect that place of vulnerability at the same time. So this was our tier 1 artifact. This was the core of it, because then what we did was we created a workshop for educators. It was a professional development opportunity we created. And we actually had the opportunity to run it with a group of educators in Brazil. Right, Carla? Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, well, the point is that many times we kind of create wonderful things and then we don't put it there out in the world. And I think this is the main thing for you guys who are now finishing tier 1 projects and all that. We need to put it out there because it's really powerful for others to get what you got. So I think like the main thing and the main challenge we have is to get all the ideas and everything that we designed throughout the studio, the design studio, and put it into action, which is the next step and not so easy. And I think the main point, and this is the beauty of tier 1 and tier 2, the fact that you have dyads and a community that can really support you. And in this case, what we did was a workshop, a full workshop, and you have here the deep learning toolkit that you can even, I was checking the slide deck that we prepared, Cla, and it's ready for you to use it because we added the speaker notes. So you can just follow through the whole slide deck and you have a workshop ready to do with your teachers as well. So our idea was more than just getting the word out there, but also have a resource for teachers that they could use themselves to train other teachers and to inspire other teachers into this inquiry-based learning. And then we move on, Cla. Of course, I think like we need to consider that what is this power of 2, right? What is that in this, I don't know, this energy that really helps us move on. And this is something that Cla and I have had for a long time. And it's funny because we worked together at the same institution for more than 10 years before we really connected. So we lived like a parallel, we had like parallel lives, professional lives there. And we didn't really connect, but there was a click because of a course, an online course that Cla was taking. And from there, we really connected. And then from there, it was magic, I think, for both. I can say for myself, and I'm sure Cla will say that as well. It was magic for both of us. And then we could really power up what we were doing with the teachers that we were training. And, you know, and then we got to Rhode Island. And these are all photos from Rhode Island, the day that we traveled.
Most of them, not all of them. Most of them.
I think there's just one that is not. I think,
right.
oh, two.
This
two.
one right here.
Two.
Yeah, a couple of them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
And then I guess it shows like, I think it's clear, like the energy and this power that we have in the sense of creating more energy for both of us to, you know, to implement, to take action and all that. And then all of a sudden, Cla,
Yeah.
We realized that we had to move on. It was not easy for us. Well, we were planning to go to Chicago, and then everything happened. Everything changed like
Right.
very fast. And we wanted to go, but still we had a problem with exchange rates in Brazil is crazy. It's like every $1 here is R$ 5, so it's a lot for us. Anything in dollars is a lot. But we decided that we were first going to talk to Renee and Julie, and then we were going to do it. And we started tier 2 without knowing what was going to happen, with great expectations.
Yes.
And it was totally different because this time it was much more self-directed, in the sense that it was funny because we are trained to be told what to do. And all of a sudden, we had all the freedom in the world to do what we wanted to do. And this is kind of disorienting because we expect people to tell us what we are going to take, how we are going to design our things. And we were out there, and we really got from the beginning. And I think like the main point for us, Cly and I, was the fact that we decided that we were not going to follow, like, we are not just going to be together with the Brazilians, which is like a power group, but we would also go around. And when we decided to go around and we had like Fast and Furious meetups with people from from tier 2 and things like that. So when we understood that we were the ones to connect the dots in different and profound ways, then I think we really started moving. Yeah, Clara, let's go from there.
Carla,
Yes.
and let me just make a mention of when we were talking about the fact that you were sort of recommending to tier 1 folks, go ahead and share the work that you do in tier 1, share it, because that's the movement, that's the flow. And stuff comes out of there. As I was talking to you about the artifact, I can clearly see, I told Renee that the other day, I can clearly see how the 4 elements of deep learning have eased into both of our tier 2 projects. It's crazy. It's like we were ourselves exploring the questions, you know? And I have to say, I have to agree with Carla, it's so ingrained in us that we expect other people to tell us what to do, sometimes even what to think. I mean, becoming aware of that was a painful part of the process for me in tier 2, because I initially brought a project which was not mine. It was not my heart's project. And there were a lot of tears involved, guys, I have to say. It was so deep for me. And it's just what Carla said. It's like challenging the process, which is a leadership practice, of really looking into, where do your thoughts come from? Where do your ideas for projects come from? Is it really you? To what extent is it? So that's what my tier 2 project turned into. It was digging deep. And it was clear, if you watch my Flipgrid videos, if you watch my 5 Flipgrid videos, you will know what I'm talking about. It's crazy. And it was a deep, deep dive that started with appreciative inquiry. This was one of the things, one of the change tools that we looked at in tier 2 with Charlie and everybody else, our good folks from tier 2, our good friends from tier 2. And it's really about, it's not the tool. It's really about what you have inside of you, and the tool will help you, dig it out, and will take the lid off. And it's really up to you to be courageous and brave and let it come out. And I would not have been able to do that if I had not been a part of a circle of trust together with my good friend Carla, whom I look up to as a leadership model, I must say. The analysis I did of a leader, it was Carla. Okay, I don't know if she has seen my video analysis of her leadership style, but I think that she will soon, and we are going to have another conversation about that. And this was the moment when everything changed for me. It was like from day 2 to day 3, there was a lot of tears. I said it already, but it was so profound and it was so meaningful. So talk about deep learning in action. That's what we were doing, right? So appreciative inquiry and the turning point, right? And then it really was about what really matters. So what does it all boil down to? When we think leadership, when I think leadership layers, right? It starts with you. It starts with you feeling worthy of sharing your voice with the world. So this is the investigation that we explored. We took a deep dive into what matters to me and to the people around me, what problems need to be solved, and most importantly, how can I make a difference? And it is always going to be in connection and movement with other people and as part of a community, because there's no more powerful learning. There are other types of learning for sure, but no learning is more powerful than the learning that happens in a community. So
Yeah,
the outcomes,
Clara,
yeah,
just one thing about, can you go back one
sure.
slide? Yes.
Okay.
One thing about this turning point for Clarissa was the fact that, well, in fact, she had an idea of a leadership project that, you know, it was a professional one. It would be great. But when we did this appreciative inquiry, like when we used the tool together, I asked the questions and she had to have the difficult answers. She had to answer those
The painful answers.
the painful ones. And then we had just had Julie's keynote, and I got these questions from Julie's keynote, and I also talked to Clara about those questions. And I think it really resonated with us, those questions, and what we've been doing so far. Yeah. So, and the point is, when Clarissa decided that that was not going to be her leadership project, and then she had like a great move, a turning point there, even her expression changed. Everything really changed. Like the way she was talking about it, the way she was like invested in learning deeply about the subject to design her own leadership project. So I think it all made a difference. I'll let you go on with the outcomes, Clara, and then I'll move to mine. Yes?
Yeah, well, you're already talking about them. I mean, I wanted to do something very professional for the school I work at. And I came out of it with the idea of planting a garden. So there you have it. How about that for change, right? So I called it the Augmented Humanity Garden. And earlier I shared a little bit.ly of with you in the previous slides. You will find it there because you have the link. And there's a link to an artifact that I created, which I think will give people a very good idea of my transformation throughout Tier 2. So you're welcome to explore it, and I would love to engage in conversation with any of you who would like to talk about it, and it's just amazing. So my project was really a project in the fundamental layer of leadership, which is self-leadership. So I looked into what it was that was holding me back for so long. So that's why it was so emotional and hard, because it was time for me to sort of shed layers of dead skin, you know, and it was not easy. So it was that deep. And I think Carla can also talk about her project, right, Carla? How about yours?
Yes. Well, I must say that my track was the easy way, the easy track. What I mean by that, it was not easy to design my project. I had lots of work there, lots of hours to design, not only me, but together with my team here in Brazil, talking to them here in Brazil, and then talking to, tier 2 folks and all that. So I'm saying that it was easier because I had an idea and I kept this idea till the end. And I designed something that I'm very proud of, and that I'm already using that and taking into action in the company that I run. But the point is that, and you can see you can have access to everything that I designed, and it's already in social media and all that. But the great turning point for me, the profound part, is that, okay, I did my project, I handed in perfect, but in fact it was much more profound than that. The results that I had with the copyright leadership project was just like the surface. What really happened to me from the conversations I had with Clarissa and everyone else in tier 2, in tier 1, everything that I attended, made a profound impact on my views of leadership and what I really wanted and what really mattered to me and to my community, again, to that question. And from there, first, when I got back to my company, working every day, I really understood that the main thing that we were here for, and the power of us together, Clarissa and I, was really this question: how can we make and how can we help educators occupy their digital spaces with powerful voices and confidence? And from there, I had a flashback. I started getting in touch with people that really transformed my professional life, and I could see how they impacted me. And even my leadership style, I've been changing little things and trying to let it go, as Yonti and Carol would say.
Yeah.
And this is really our mission now, and we are working together more than just in our own tier 2 projects, but working together as two to really help educators occupy these digital spaces with confidence, being vulnerable, but having a place to really show their vulnerability and thrive. That's our mission as digital leaders. So, Cla.
Yeah. And just to sort of, just to wrap up our reflection that we wanted to share with you, this was my main takeaway from tier 2 that I'm sharing with you here. It really is about leadership, because leadership is our will to move forward. That's what leadership is in the end. So you have to find that in you first and unblock that, And I'm just going to leave you with this so that you can reflect a little bit. But to me, what it means to lead today, it means to facilitate change through collaboration, amplified by creativity and a collective sense of shared ownership. So this was my main takeaway from tier 2. And this is what our work together, Carla and my work together, and we're always together, even though maybe the projects are mine or hers. There's no mine and hers. It's, we are both going in the same direction, And I'm just so very happy to see that for Carla, it was also, she was very focused on something very concrete, but I could see her being her best self in terms of the leader that I know her for. So I am forever grateful to my friend. So I'm just going to say thank you, Carla, in front of everybody.
Thank you, Cla.
Absolutely wonderful. Now, if it's okay with you, I think we are ready. Is it okay? We are ready for our small group
we are
discussion?
ready. Yes.
Yes.
So I'm going to stop the sharing now. I'm putting the discussion question into the chat because I think this discussion question is very timely in relation to the conversation that we just had. And in the chat, you're going to see the 2 questions that I'm hoping you can discuss with your team members in the small group discussion. How do you see yourself as a leader? And what are the opportunities that you have to facilitate change? Give me a thumbs up if you understand the topic of our discussion today. We're going to break up. Clarissa will be in one room. Carla will be in another room. But really, the spotlight is on you, right? How do you see yourself as a leader? What are the opportunities that you have to facilitate change? We're going to take about 15 minutes for this discussion. If you're in the room with somebody you don't know, make a new friend. Okay, we'll see you in 15 minutes. Rooms are opening now. Just click on the link and you'll be taken to that breakout room. Okay, it looks like you're back, right? Are you all back? Is everybody back? All right, it's time for some synthesis from that discussion. Some interesting, curious insights occurred. Let's just do some large group sharing to figure out what happened in your room. What insights emerged?
One insight that we had, thanks to Charlie, I may say, yeah, that's leadership has to do with being vulnerable. And that sometimes it's those 2 concepts are seen in order to depict leadership very distant, but you have to embrace your vulnerability in order to pass to your team that you don't know everything, and that's why you have a team, you know, in order to collaborate and learn from each other, help each other, and so this is that was a great insight from me during the discussion.
Thank you for sharing. Who's next? What big ideas, what insights emerged from your dialogue in your small group?
So I will say, with our group, one of the things that went with that was the importance of the community to go back to when you're being a leader, especially when you're challenging, when you're challenging a process, or when you're trying to model the way, and there's pushback, and how do you not feel isolated so that it affects you. So it made me think of the metaphor, I didn't get to say it in the group, but of when you fly and you hear about a parent put your mask on first kind of thing, and so that's kind of what hit me the most out of our conversation.
To pick up on what Frank said a little bit, I think a pattern as I was listening to what people were talking about in their own leadership, creating opportunities is that challenge the process. And, even I can't remember who was, almost apologizing for, well, sometimes I do things and I jump in and certainly we don't want to hurt people, but sometimes the practices that we should be doing don't mesh with what's currently happening. So that I think the challenge, the process introduces some interesting ideas.
Who's next? What insight did you have on your own identity as a digital literacy leader? And what questions emerged from your conversation? Mara?
Today I'm here just listening you, but I think that leadership today is to learn to be able to challenge every day, to face challenge every day, and to see that all these opportunities are very important to change the way that we are working in school, and to be able to show how the teachers can be also leaderships in their classrooms. They are not just teachers, but teacher today is to be a leadership in the classroom. And that's so important.
Boy, that's a really important idea. What are some other topics that came up from in your conversation? Ariel.
I just wanted to share that I think something that I heard earlier, you need to be uncomfortable with yourself. Go out of your comfort zone, and that way you lead. You are able to really focus on where it is you want to head. But in order to get there, I don't recall who it was, but said you need to shed layers of yourself and just be in an uncomfortable place, because it's a lot of hard work, leadership. And it reminds me of last year when I was climbing a mountain in around Kilimanjaro. You don't realize how hard you can work and create amazing stuff through that hard work.
It's true. So the struggle is at the heart of this work, right? The struggle is part of what we just have to accept as this is what leadership is. Pam, when in your small discussion, how did you find yourself thinking about leadership in ways that reflect your life experience and leadership style?
Well, I, of course, talked about my co-producer role for the upcoming Northeast, not just Northeast Media Literacy Conference in 2020, in November, same week as the U.S. election, and how we are embracing change. Change has always kind of been an okay, comfortable place for me. And I'm glad that we have Renee and Yanti to rein us in when I go too crazy with my change things. But I shared that I wrote down Claude's definition of leadership because I thought it was perfect. And we really want to encourage that power of two and collaboration, whether it's across a city like those two, or across a state, or across a country, or across the world. We're hoping that we can facilitate some really dynamic duos coming out of the conference in November.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Well, I want to make sure to give enough time for Julie and Charlie to have the last word, because they were lucky enough to spend a whole week with the leaders at the Summer Institute in Digital Literacy. And hopefully next summer, some of you will be back to be in that program yourselves. Julie and Charlie, what insights do you want to have reflecting back on the wise stories that Clara and Clarissa told us today?
So actually, I didn't have as much time during the week to spend with any of them. I was busy copy pasting Zoom links, but I did very much see in their products the growth and the amazing personal nature of their reflection and their collaboration. And you could see the growth over the week through their reflections, and then after the week in terms of how they thought about some of the readings and things. So I think for me, the leadership, it was really just amazing to see everyone come together and really from a personal perspective, also get to see Charlie work with people outside the military who really pick up and go with the ideas that he's promoting, which isn't always the case in his other job. So that's my last word, is thank you to Charlie.
Thanks. So I have two things. Thank you, Renee. One thing is, it's always amazing to see what people create in these classes, and it's always the best class I teach over the year. And I teach at least probably 27 weeks of leadership classes, but this week with the Institute is always the best class because of the work that goes in. And so one thing I'll say is, in the book Drive, I love to bring up this point that Daniel Pink studied, what are all the leadership theories and motivational theories. And he says, if you create environments where there's autonomy, mastery, and purpose, so really great leaders don't do anything, they just create environments. And if you can create an environment that creates more autonomy, mastery, and purpose in the folks that are following you, you're gonna have great leadership outcomes. You might not feel, your ego might not be as satisfied because you're not driving that change. But when you create those environments, you are creating leadership moments for other people. And really the greatest leaders are the ones who bring other people to the spotlight, not get the spotlight on them, right? And too often we're putting the spotlight on leaders when really it's the people that do the work that deserve that spotlight. And the second thing I'll say is just a funny thing happened to me through the Institute this year. I started doing this analysis. I'm a big quote person. So for years I've been, kind of cornering, and I've been ending a lot of my workshops with this quote from John Quincy Adams. It says, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. But here's the funny thing about that quote. Turns out John Adams never said that. There's a quote search engine you can use, and I discovered it during the Institute this year. Guess who said that? And this, it kind of talks about equity and diversity and things, and why this person wasn't highlighted with that quote. It was Dolly Parton, our country singer, who said that. That's the best source of that quote. So I need to start attributing Dolly Parton to that quote. And it also tells something about, like how you build your messaging around leadership and things. It's just a funny example for me to see that leadership needs to be a bigger audience and bring more people into the mix. And, we need to get rid of some of the issues we've had in the past around this stuff.
Wow, what a great media literacy lesson there. That's actually terrific.
I've used it for years. I have pictures of me with that quote in the background, and John Quincy Adams, we really need to highlight him.
Unbelievable. That's a wonderful conclusion. Hey, listen, let's give Clara and Clarissa a round of applause for their great work today in guiding our thinking and discussion. I just want to leave you with one last thing. Next Wednesday, we come back for an hour because we're going to talk about leadership in a different way. This is the part 3 of the series called The Benefits and Challenges of Being a Media Literacy Entrepreneur. And this week, or next week from 12 to 1, we meet. We have Lauren McClanahan from Washington State University. We have Jamie Rue, a veteran library school media specialist in Chicago, who also has her own publishing house. And we have Sister Nancy Usselman, the director of the Pauline Center for Media Studies and a media literacy entrepreneur in the Catholic Church. So what a great conversation it's going to be. Thanks for joining us. It was really fun. We're glad you were here. Be safe, be kind, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Great to see you.
Bye.
Yeah.